And here we are with episode 100. 100 episodes. Feels like I've been doing this for a year. Because I have, started from the beginning. But, I've been doing it in earnest for about 3 months. Something like that. 100 episodes. I only have to do what I've just done 10 more times. Effing hell. I'm having a lot of fun. I don't want this to end anytime soon. So fortunately, it won't. But because this is episode 100, we're going to do things a little different here. First of all, there won't be a character corner at the end of this episode, and that's actually good timing because we just had a couple filler episodes. I don't like doing character corners with filler episodes. I enjoy filler episodes, but I kind of want to avoid, putting them too much into the algebra and trigonometry of me, the how I grade the characters and stuff, because there could be some contradictions. And somebody's even saying there's a couple like plot holes if you include the filler stuff. I just enjoy the ride. I'm here for the ride. I'm not like Doomcock talking about oh, if you do this it's canon, if you don't do this it's not canon, and all that crap. I don't care. I'm not Steve Shives or whatever his name is, the Star Trek nerd, where he doesn't care about continuity at all. Like he does not care. He's whatever story you're in, that's all he cares about. He doesn't care about whether that fits within the other story. Like I'm not that either, right? Like so, I care about continuity, but I'm not a continuity Nazi or anything, right? So like I'm kind of somewhere in between those two extremes. As far as the character corner goes, I'd rather not include filler material. So that means like when we have our big filler marathon, whenever that'll be, I guess it's the end of August. Maybe I'll do a filler character corner. I don't know. I probably just won't do anything because there's just no reason to include that stuff, right? Like so be that as it may. But like the main reason is because what I'm going to be doing at the end of this episode instead is I ran a poll on the channel and ended up being a three-way tie. I was talking about what kind of bonus segment do you want for my 100th episode. It ended up being a three-way tie between rank the characters so far, rank the story arcs, and rank your favorite villains. Since it's a three-way tie, I get to pick. And what I'm picking is I'm going to rank the story arcs. The main reason for that is back in April, I ranked the story arcs up to that point. And what I was going to do, I was going to do a contest where I was going to announce that I had ranked it, I'd recorded the video, and if you could predict what the score was of one of the story arcs, then you would win a prize, which would be doing a movie reaction. And then I was already starting to get behind it. I realized I was just not going to have time to fit in another movie reaction on top of what I'm trying to raise money for the channel and stuff like that, and so I just didn't have time to do a contest. But I'd already recorded the segment. So, hey, since it's a three-way tie, I didn't force the vote. Like, I didn't even, you can't vote on your own poll, right? So I didn't influence it in any way. But since I've already pre-recorded something, now all I have to do is rank the story arcs from wherever it was I ended last time. And I have a document and stuff I've done that in. So now, here we go. So I'll just finish that up, and that'll be at the end of this episode. So if you don't care about me ranking the story arcs we've had so far, cool. But you can just stop at the end of the, once I finish this reaction. And if you do, you can stick around. It's probably going to end up being a pretty long video. All right, well, one more thing real quick. As I've mentioned many times, I don't like promote myself. I'm terrible at self-promotion. It was always called Shadow Dog Productions. I go by Shadow Dog. I'm not trying to aggrandize myself and promote my name, and it's always about the team concept, right? So when I was a filmmaker, it was never I'm the Billy Badass, I'm awesome. It was always about the team concept. I love the college thing where it's like they don't have the names of the players, they just have the name of the college. It's college sports, and I know that they're exploiting their players, and so it's not a good analogy, but I like the idea that you wouldn't have the name on the jersey, even though the reality of it is they're exploiting players. So but the idea that the idea that all we care about is this team, it doesn't matter who the individual components are, is a concept I like in theory. I don't know how practical it is in the real world, because at the end of the day we all sleep alone, right? But that's kind of like my approach to everything. So I'm terrible at promoting myself, which is probably why I was never successful as a filmmaker. You probably got to promote yourself, Lloyd Kaufman is a massive self-promoter, and he's one of probably the most successful independent filmmaker in the world. Charles Band, same way. He's probably the second most successful independent filmmaker in the world because they're shameless self-promoters. But I just if I feel like if I'm binging a video, if I go and watch Jimmy Mackham, do 100 episodes of Person of Interest or something, and he's promoting his Patreon and all this stuff at the beginning of every single effing episode, and I'm binging 100 episodes, I start skipping through. I just skip to the reaction. I miss the intro, right? Because it's tedious. Nobody wants to hear it. That's why I don't promote my other channel. I've got another non-safe for work channel. There's a link in the description box below. I've got a Patreon link in the description box below. We're going to be 40, 50 episodes ahead pretty soon. Right now, we're about 30 episodes ahead. But I'm doing more every week, right? So you can, if you want this, watch ahead, you can do that. This is episode 100, so I would not be surprised if right now over my Patreon we've got at least 150. And then you can hit buy me a coffee. You can donate over there. And I've also got a Venmo if you want a commission. Like I have time for paid commissions. I just don't have time to do a reaction as a contest. So that's all my promotion. Like I said, I'm only going to promote myself once every 50 episodes. I think I did it around episode 50. So here we are at 100. I'll see you at 150 that I was just talking about, right? So you can go over to Patreon right now and see me promote myself again for the first time since right now at episode 150. So that's my goal, I guess. I guess by the time this goes live on YouTube, I'd better have 150 over there. So that'll keep me motivated. All right, now we've done all that. Let's go ahead and get into this reaction. Like I said, you can stick around at the end for the story rankings. And have I mentioned this is episode 100? So you know where we are, and you know where we're going. 3, 2, 1. Somebody was telling me in the comments that they do this from now on. I guess it's one of those things that a show doesn't start out doing something, but then they start doing it every episode. Like they call it a Saga sale sometimes. This is the situation. This is what their goal is, and these are the heroes, right? That kind of thing. But I like that. It's just kind of wild that it took them almost 100 episodes to do that. Now it's probably something that's been common for the last 900 episodes, right? People can't even remember time when it started, but I'm just now experiencing it pretty much for the first time. I think they started about 3 episodes ago. Okay, so we're done with the filler crap. I know we're going to be getting back into it pretty soon, like 102 or something. Really? How could you smoke in a desert when you're thirsty? That just feels unwise. He is laid out, man. Really? Now you're just wasting water, man. He always wastes stuff, though. Yeah, and he lost a lot of it too, didn't he? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Too bad you're one dimensional. I used to like you as a character. Now you only have the one dimension. This is the only problem I have. His only personality flaw, as far as I'm concerned, Luffy, is his greediness about food specifically, but also water. Like, he's a very giving person otherwise, but he is physically greedy with stuff like that. It's very unappealing. I like people who share. Yeah, this is stuff I've been waiting for. Guess we get to find out the finer details. I think we know the broad strokes, but they'll tell us the finer details of what happened here. This is when it started, huh? We're pissed. Yeah, but I was just watching Vinland Saga, and he said he could control the ocean. he was making a point, but still. Yeah. Spoiled? I don't think he's spoiled, man. He's like pissed. There's a difference. Yeah. You probably should show the proper respect, though. And every father's going to be worried, of course. Damn, man. No reason for child abuse. Jesus. Really. There's only so much you can do, though. He's trying to be a good king. I get it. Yeah. Dad, if you don't get your effing hands off me. Yeah, he's still pissed. Yeah. He's probably the leader of the Rebel Alliance, isn't he? Yeah, of course he is. He's furious. It's been 11 years. He's a kid here. Yeah, he's totally the leader of the rebels. Yeah. See, I'm not a dick. I may be incompetent, but not an asshole. Yeah, look at him. Pissed. Damn. What an a hole. Yeah, runt. Yeah. She will kick your ass. Yeah, what's up? Guess we got to borrow from the Iron Bank. Yeah. Damn, everybody's abusive. Yeah, now that I have a fractured skull. Now what? She kicked his ass, didn't she? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. Slow your roll. What a mess. Yeah, he knocked them both out. Way too abusive. He kicked her ass. Hey, man, but she jumped him, though, right? Like, clearly. What did you call me? You called me a runt? She jumped him. Totally. This is how you lose a kingdom, man. They made them overcommit their, starve out the small towns, make them overcommit their resources, and then just keep piling on until the whole structure collapses. Very bad for the economy. Yeah, Kozo. That's him. Look at him. Yeah. 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 Two things they love in anime: pointing at the other character and calling people pipsqueak, runt, and brat. All, and I guess now that I think about it, Japanese culture is very dismissive of youth, and they revere age and maturity, right? Like with age comes experience, right? Did she, did she win? Vice leader. Yeah. Yeah. Vice leader. But like, so I guess that's why there's so many different insults and so much focus on insulting young people, right? Because if you're young, then you're pretty much worthless. It's an interesting aspect of the culture. I think. Now I'm talking my ass. I don't actually know this. It's what I'm intuiting from all this I've been consuming. Plus, Dad spent a lot of time in Japan. He told me a few things. Yep. So they became really close. That's interesting, considering how the first time they met. This is cool, man. Yeah. Look at it. Yeah. Of course, he's got to keep an eye on her, right? Yeah. Really? Doesn't the king have something to do? Like, aren't you governing the entire island? You got time to follow your kid around? What the hell, man? You're not even following your kid. You're following the person following the kid. I like the one branch is supposed to hide him, right? But yeah, they seem very derisive of youth, right? So like that, I just keep bumping into them. Yeah, it's alright. Idiots. What's she gonna find? They're conspiring to rebel? Oh, crap. Well, none of this is good. Yeah, what the hell? That's right, kick their asses. They still haven't kicked the bucket. We ain't got time to talk, man. We're fighting. You know, this whole thing. Um, how many 10-year-olds would it take to kill you? You know, you as a healthy adult, right? It would take at least 50 to kill me. But they could. Like, you get enough of them, they could definitely. It doesn't matter who you are. 200 could kill Arnold Schwarzenegger or Mike Tyson, right? So that's the concept there, right? Like, it's just. They got enough, I think they can take those dudes out. Of course, you're going to take losses, right? Well, that's not good. You just come right up to it. His invulnerability is the only reason why he's alive. Because if he hadn't taken the devil fruit, he'd have been killed by now. Because he just has no sense of self preservation. And the two things could be related. He knows he's invulnerable, right? Maybe he would act differently if he wasn't. Of course, he also has powerful friends. That helps. Usopp's not helping. That's for damn sure. The camel's above it all. We don't even care about the fight. Really? Is there some kind of romance here? I thought it was gonna be more of like a brother sister kind of thing, but not biological, but you know what I mean. Kick their asses. Yeah, crap. I mean, I think they're pretty good bodyguards. What are you talking about? That's right. That's right. Now you only got 9 fingers. Choose wisely. That's right. Kick their asses. I don't know, man. I don't think you just mow through them like that, man. There was a lot of them. Shit. Apparently you can. They were just playing with you before. Pathetic. You call yourself a Rebel Alliance? See, now I'm mad, right? You're gonna beat up a bunch of kids. They're calling out like they think she's gonna come out. Like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah. Just put your hand near my mouth again. That's all I need you to do. That's right, motherfucker. They got me cussing, man. Yeah, well, why didn't you do this the first time, man? Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'll shove it up your ass. Tell you what, I like this kid, man. He may turn evil later. He's probably just misguided, right? But but he could be evil. But whatever happens in the future, I like him right now. Unless he dies, they're about to kill him off. That would surprise me because it feels like they're setting something up here. Oh crap! That's right. You may have cut my eye out. I guess he's gonna have an eye patch in the future, right? You may have cut my eye out, but you don't have any teeth left. Yeah, I like the cut of his jib. He ain't screwing around. Maybe I'll take that sword too. We still got two more, man. We ain't got time to be laying down. Look at him. You just got knocked the F out. Kiss my ass. Guess you two wanted to. Oh, now we're talking. So the king can kick ass, huh? I didn't realize the king had hands or feet. Yeah, yeah. Stomp him out. That's right. I'll have you drawn and quartered, man. They're here for it. They were part of it, weren't they? I don't trust it. There's something ominous about them, man. I don't trust this. We ain't arranging nothing. Okay, maybe those guys just the two guards they didn't show their faces and they seemed ominous, man. I didn't like that. There's something about it. Why so glum? Because everything sucks. That's why. Messed them up, man. Yeah. Hey, it's our own little honor guard, man. Yeah. That kid's intense, man. Yeah, it's not nice. You make me feel the sad. Yeah, pretty much. Right. No doubt. He lost an eye, man. We need more than gratitude, man. He lost an eye. What's up? Friend or not, man. He did a service to the country. He's probably thinking that, marriage material or something. The king seems a little unserious for me. It could be just the tone because it's a kid's show, right? But you have, you're ruling over an entire island. And it feels like you're micromanaging too much about your kid, right? You need to delegate some of that stuff. Good thing he was there, though, right? So it worked out. Really. Oh, I see. Right. That could be a really good watering hole, literally, commercially. And they've got access to the water and everything, yeah. Interesting. I'm bringing my Sand clan. Wait, no, he didn't get his eye cut. It was just a scar. Okay, that's right. I think I remember him later with that scar. Okay. We've already seen him as an adult, I think. Yep. Eventually it will turn on you, but for now it's all happy giggles and fun times. That kid is intense. So I wonder what the time frame is from the first fight to right now. I'm gonna guess about a year or something. Yeah, it's a good idea. Was when did he turn evil? Yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Come on, we know. Yeah, I mean that was obvious, right? Not if somebody's just telling you a story, though. It's obvious because we know how stories work. They wouldn't spend all this time, like almost an entire episode, telling us a story of. Yeah, yeah. Hey, man. Doesn't matter. You can call it whatever we want. Good stuff. Hey, man. They're foraging. If you forage, you're good, right? But we know how stories work. They're not going to spend this amount of time telling a story about somebody who doesn't, and that we're not getting ready to just meet, right? So that's obvious. But when in real life, when somebody tells you a story, so it could have nothing to do with anything what we're doing, right? Because that could just be what's on their mind, right? So it's at some point you as a writer you stop worrying about trying to trick the audience. You just tell the good story. That's what you're doing. Because I think especially Lost had a real problem with this. And I love the show Lost, but like they started to be obsessed with tricking the audience, and that should not be your primary focus, and it can't be your primary focus. You're going to lose the story if you do that. So it's okay to be obvious sometimes, and I don't even know how obvious it would be. Like, what is the target demographic here? We're probably talking about 12 to 15, maybe is what we're really targeting. Anybody of any age can enjoy it, of course, but you have to know what your target audience is, and you write to that. And maybe it's not as obvious to 12, 15 year olds. Although this probably was anyway, because I don't remember specifically, but I'm almost positive we saw an adult with that scar, right? As soon as I saw that he was healed and I saw the scar, I was like, okay, well, clearly, that's the dude we saw before. So at that point, it'd be obvious, even if it wasn't obvious before. But anyway, we're going to be doing story arc rankings next. So, okay, so the way it's going to work is I'm going to show you the previous video where I explain those first 5 story arcs and those numbers and stuff, and then we'll come back and I'll do the rest of the story arcs we've got so far. As you can see, I'm going to be ranking them by new characters introduced in that story arc. Action comedy, they kind of go hand in hand sometimes, sometimes they don't. Lore, what's been revealed. Pacing, that's probably going to be the biggest fluctuation. And then the total points scored. All right, here we go with the Romance Dawn story arc. I don't know why it's called that. Maybe somebody enlighten me. Why the hell is it called that? Well, we get Luffy, Namio, and Zoro. Those are the big 3 that I can remember from the first 3 episodes. So that's got to be a 10. I mean, these are 3 of my favorite characters. Action comedy, it's pretty good in both categories. I love the cat and mouse they play with Namio. Luffy was hilarious. So I'm going to give that an 8. Lore, well, I mean, we're world building here. They're establishing, they tell us about the devil's fruit. And I think it's pretty strong in lore. Pacing, it's only 3 episodes, so it's very well paced. Which gives us a total of 38. It's going to be hard to beat that. But there can be an asterisk there because, you're going to get high marks for pacing if you only have 3 episodes. It's really, really hard for, we see down here, Barati or whatever, is 11 episodes. Our Long Park is 13 episodes. It's hard to get high pacing marks when you have that many episodes.
So this has got an asterisk. It's probably going to end up being the highest rated story arc, but like you're introducing our main characters. You see my logic here. I think that this is a false number. It looks better than it is. All right, Orangetown, and I'm looking at the Wikipedia. Obviously, I'm only looking as far as I've gone, right? But just to refresh my memory here, it says Namio's introduced. We saw her in the first 3 episodes, so I guess they by name. There's actually character interactions there, is what they're saying. So I don't know. New characters is just gonna be a zero. There was nobody interesting, I don't think, in this story arc. Like I said, we already met Namio, so that's gonna be a zero. The action comedy, Buggy the Clown, that stuff is okay. I hate Buggy the Clown. Like, he's annoying in a bad way, right? I just don't like him. But, some of the fights was interesting. Is this where we got the dog? Oh, wait a minute. This was the dog, wasn't it? So, you got to get 2 just for the dog. And just the comedy of the dog, you got to give it a 6, right? Lore, I don't think we really got much lore in these 6. Maybe a little bit, like, maybe a little bit more about pirates and a little bit more about Marines and a little bit, like, basic world building stuff. So, I'll give that a 4. It's very well paced. There was no issue there. So that's going to be a 22. Surrey Village. That's with Usopp, right? I know some people, Klaus included, hate Usopp. I don't love him, but I don't hate him. And he's pretty pivotal. He's a pretty huge introduction. So we'll give him an 8. Action comedy, there's a fair amount of both. I'll give that another 8. Lore, we got a little bit here and there. Maybe if some of these characters come back, we'll get some. But, I don't think it was anything super exciting. The pacing was bad. Some of the things just took too long. The fight in that valley, I think it was like 3 or 4 solid episodes just there. Like it was just, it felt dragged out. It felt like they could have come. This was 9 episodes. It felt like they could accomplish everything they needed to accomplish in 5 or 6 episodes. This definitely felt dragged out. It can't get better than a 5. So that's going to be a 25. All right, now this one, Bharati, I assume, is the restaurant arc. I mean, we meet, not only do we have Sanji join the team, but we meet some other really cool characters. The owner of the restaurant was very interesting. Dracula's going to come back. I mean, you got to have a 10 for introductions, right? Some great new characters. The action was fantastic. Really, really good. The comedy was on point. Like, this is an automatic 10. The lore's got to be a 10 just simply because they introduced the 7 warlords. I get the idea that's going to be a crucial, pivotal thing moving forward for probably hundreds of episodes. So, a lot was introduced here. The pacing again was bad. Like, a lot of times you're cutting the reaction shots. They swing their fist 3 times, and then we get 20, 30 seconds of just going around to the people floating in the ocean and stuff, right? The pacing was horrible. Like, again, this was 11 episodes. They could have easily done this in like 8 episodes, right? So that's going to be a 5. Still, really high 35. I really enjoyed the story arc. We know this is going to be 10. I love the big bad. Let me see. Anybody else? No, I mean, just one big bad is enough to give you a 10. But I really like him, so that'll be a 7. Action comedy was off the top. I think actually the action is probably better than the comedy for the first time in any story arc, I think. The lore was really good. We hear about the fishmen. We get Namio's backstory, along with like some of the way that some of these pirates operate. There was a lot there. There was a lot going on. So I'll give that a really solid 8. Again, the pacing is horrible. Again, things just felt dragged out. This was 13 episodes. It could have easily been 10, right? Like, it's just not very well paced. Okay, so now that we're back, let's go ahead and do Lugtown. I think that's how that's pronounced. They introduced 2 characters that made my character sheet. 2. So, I mean, they've got to be a 10. Very interesting characters. Smoker and whatever the other chick's name is. You know what I mean. So, I like the characters. The name thing doesn't, there's no indication of how much I like a character. I'm just terrible with names. So, we got a lot of good action just because of that, right? So, the good characters and stuff. Action comedy.
I think we also get a 10 here because they had some interesting fights and there was some hilarious stuff going on. A lot of shenanigans. I enjoyed the story arc a lot. I think this is going to end up a very high number. Lore, we got some good lore. We got some stuff that's interesting. We found out a little bit more about Gold Roger, and we found out some more Devil Fruit powers, stuff like that. And I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I've seen these episodes, but I think we got a lot of good stuff. So I'll give it an 8. You know what? I think anything to do with Gold Roger, anything possibly setting up the One Piece and the quest. Like, look, it's got to be a 10 because, like, this, as I speculate at the time, it's starting to come back to me. What he did there actually created the entire world that we live in now in this story. If Gold Roger, if he hadn't said what he said right before he was executed, it could be a very different world. Like, so that's got to be a 10 for the Lord. Like, that's a pivotal moment in the mythology, right? So, yeah, definitely a 10. Pacing, as I remember it, was okay. I don't remember it dragging on too long, and we had a little bit of filler in between, but I'm not worried about that. So I wouldn't say it was tightly paced. I don't think we'll ever get back to a 10 for pacing because look how long the series is, right? But I don't remember having a huge issue with pacing, so we'll give it an 8. So this is one of our highest ranks ever, 38, right? That's up there with the very first story arc. Good stuff. Okay, Warship Island. Now, I know it's a filler arc. And so you might think this is heresy, but like I really, really like the character Apis, whatever. I like her a lot. I like her so much like she's getting a 10, because that's the only character I think of interest. The villain is okay, big boy. But yeah, so like even though we'll probably never see her again and she's not canon, I'm talking about I enjoyed the ride. This is how much I enjoy it as we go, right? Now, as far as lore goes, of course, the filler arc's going to be punished for that. So, that's what it is. But no other category will be punished, including introduction of characters that we may never see again. While we spent time with these characters, they're interesting. So, there we go. Action comedy was great. Yeah, it's got to get another 10. Because there was a lot of fun action, a lot of fun comedy. The stuff with the dragons and stuff was really good. I even loved the mystery element, trying to find out exactly which island you're going to and all that stuff. So, good stuff. Here's one question I have. The fruit that allows you to talk to animals, is that part of canon or not? Or is that just something made up for this? I don't think it's a spoiler if you tell me that, because if it is part of canon, well, we've already been introduced to it, so you're not telling me something I don't already know. All I want to know is, like, it would affect what I feel about lore, right? Because right now, it's a 0 for lore. But if this is a fruit that maybe the author uses later and they were just bringing it forward, then I consider that an introduction and I would give it like a 2 or 3 for lore. But otherwise, it's filler. So it's going to be a 0 here for now. Pacing was pretty good, I don't feel like anything dragged out too much. So this story arc could get a 27. Yeah, I just realized how much you get punished if you're a filler arc just because of the lore. Because otherwise, I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed that story arc a lot. Okay, Reverse Mountain. I like the whale. I don't like the whale enough to give this a 10, but I like the whale a lot. And the guy inside the whale was also interesting. So we'll give him an 8. Action comedy was excellent. There was some good stuff. There was really good stuff in here. Yeah, we got to give this a 10. Lore. Well, we got some good stuff there with the whale. Nothing with the overall lore, but like if we're talking about world building, there was some excellent world building stuff happening there. So I'll give it a 4. Pacing is only 2 episodes. Like, how bad can it be, right? So, might as well just give that a 10. So, 32, not bad. All right, well, this has got to be a 10 for characters, right? Like, Whiskey Peak, I mean, come on. A lot of intrigue.
A lot of Vivian and Carew. I mean, very interesting characters. Some of the other characters were interesting. We get the first look into the conspiracy of like the numbered groups, Mr. Wednesday or whatever, 12 or 13 through 1 or 0, something like that. So we got our first look at that cartel, right? So that's really good stuff. The action comedy was really good. I'm going to give it a knock, though, because we're going to end our 10 streak here. I just felt like the fight between Luffy and Zoro was contrived. I just don't think, and people have talked about this in comments, they think it is in character, and they make interesting points. I don't think it's in Luffy's character to automatically assume the worst from a friend. Friendship is the thing he cares about the most. It's about the friendship. Like he idolizes his friends. He'll do anything for his friends. I don't think he'll immediately think the worst of his friends. He didn't immediately think the worst of Nami when she took the boat. But he's going to immediately think the worst of Zoro? I just don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. So that you get a knock there. Like you're going to get marked down. Because it's contrived. So that'll be an 8. The lore is off the charts, man, because like we find out about this whole cartel, we're still spending time with this cartel. We're still dealing with them, right? And this goes all the way to the top with Crocodile, right? So like this is huge. This establishes a lot that we're still dealing with. So this has got to be a 10. The pacing was all over the place. And not in a good way because like again like Luffy fighting Zoro just feels like a waste of time. We're spinning our wheels. And there were some other pacing issues I have with this, so like not horrible. It wasn't horribly paced, but it'll be a 7. But an overall score of 35 ain't bad. All right, Colby. Not really much. Like there's one or two other characters introduced. We're not getting much there, so I mean, I don't think there's anything there. So that's gonna be a 0. Not really much action. The comedy was pretty good. Like it wasn't horrible. There were some funny moments. Lore, I think we're getting some interesting world building stuff. We're finding out more about the Marines. We're finding out more about Kobe, who I assume is going to be important at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if he's a captain we run into in episode 485, right? So that wouldn't shock me. So I think that's important. So we got to give this a pretty high 8, right? Not crucial information, but pacing. It was well paced for what it is. Like it takes us away from the main story, but within itself, just the story they were telling, it was well paced. So 8. So 23 ain't bad. Little Garden. Okay, the Giants were interesting characters. They're not going to have any lasting impact. However, we also met some other people, the bad guys. Explosion Man and the girl who could change the density of things and some other people. So, and they've been defeated now. So I don't know if they're going to have future impact. Like my thing with new characters is there's like a sliding scale here. First of all, is how interesting are they just in and of themselves. Then there's how much impact they're going to have in the future. Now, obviously, what you saw with when I was doing a piece back in the Warship arc, that's not an end all be all. You can still be a 10 even if you're having no future impact. And these people, none of these characters are going to have future impacts. Okay, so that you take a ding there, but if I like you enough, you're still going to be up high, right? The thing is, these characters, they were interesting. Were they interesting enough to recover from the fact that I don't believe we're ever going to see any of them again? So, and I think there's a little bit of crossover. I think like we go back and we see Crocodile for a few seconds here and there. I believe it's confusing. Like, what did that happen in Little Garden or did that happen in Drum Island? I don't remember specifically. No reason to split hairs there. I'll give it an 8. We're not trying to do exact science here. This is just a general overall impressions. The numbers are just there for fun, right? It's just a way to articulate, how much or how little I like something. So it's a good 8. Action comedy, this was a top notch. I really, really loved it. And there's not really a place for this, but I love the mystery element, how we started off. We go in and we're kind of just all by ourselves. I love the fact that like they were seeing versions of themselves, and that was really weird and creepy. Oh, and the oh, wait a minute. The girl with the power to paint, she was incredible. She was awesome. I'm gonna have to give you another point for characters. I'd forgotten about her. I feel like we're gonna see her again. She's somebody I think we're gonna see again. She was great. First of all, she was hilarious. Everything she was doing was funny, but her power was very interesting. She could throw some paint on you and control you, right? So that was very cool. And that would create a situation where, like, you may have to fight Luffy, or like that moment when they said, "Can you help us?" and he said no. I was blown away. That was such a great moment, right? So yeah, the action comedy was rock solid. Lore, I don't know that we got anything like super important moving forward, but like what we got was super interesting. I love the island. I love what's happening with the giants. Just all this stuff. All these we're still finding out about the cartel. That's lore. It'll get a good 8, right? Yeah, that feels good. Pacing was all over the place. Some of the pacing was really good. Some of it felt a little dragged out. It felt like this what was it 7, 8 episodes. It felt like it could have been 4 or 5 and been really really good. So pacing was good but not great. I'll give that a 7. 34 out of 40. 34 out of 40 is nothing to be ashamed of. Okay, and here we are. I know I keep saying this. I probably said this with All Along Park, which was the last story arc, even though it only got a 30 for some reason. But this so far is my favorite story arc because Luffy climbing the hill, Luffy climbing the mountain, like that was incredible. Like that was so far was a pivotal, seminal moment of the entire series for me. If I hadn't already fallen in love with the show at that point, before that, I would have it in that moment. Very personal to me, and it's just such a just an awesome moment. So yeah, that was incredible. New characters, well, I mean, we get Chopper, so that's an automatic 10, right? Chopper's great. There was other good characters. We met a lot of people, right? Like the doctor that Chopper learned from, she was awesome. The first doctor he learned from was great. Was a very interesting character. I like everything they did, man. That was just great. Action comedy. I mean, we've got large bunny rabbits trying to kill you, man. We've got bears that you better bow to, or they're gonna be pissed off, right? So, like, I mean, everything, and that's just like that's not. We're not even really talking about the actual comedic moments. We're not talking about the actual fighting moments. So this has got to be a 10. Lore. We got some great lore. We found out some very interesting things. I think we'll see moving forward. Animals can eat the devil fruit and get powers, become humanoid, become sentient. So like the lore was fantastic all the way through. Learned a lot of stuff about like a character I assume we're gonna be spending a lot of time with, Chopper, right? So lore's a 30. Pacing. At times the pace was incredible. The episode he's climbing the mountain, you could say that was dragged out. You probably should say that was dragged out, but like for me, I enjoyed every second of it because it just really, really, the longer, the harder it was for him to climb that mountain, the more I related to it, the more I felt it on an emotional, visceral level. It took me right back to my childhood. So that was all great. Some of it was just dragged out. It was just, some of the pacing was horrible. Again, like this was what a total of like 13 episodes or something like that. It really feels like it could have been 9, a really tight 9. They, a lot of the stuff is just like they were flashing back to things we'd just seen, and so pacing's horrible, which I think we'll probably find for any of these really long story arcs. We'll see. I'm currently in the middle of whatever the next story arc is. What's it called here? No, I guess we're in the Alabaster arc. Okay, that goes from 92 to 130, right? So we're talking about a 38 episode arc. It'd be interesting to see what I think about that when we get there. But like, it's gonna be hard when you have that many episodes for it to feel tightly paced. You get what they call arc fatigue, and you see this. This is why Heroes started splitting up their seasons into 2 or 3 story volumes, and Once Upon a Time split up their seasons. They'd have an A story and a B story. So like the first half of the season would be one story arc. Then they'd have their mid-season finale with that story arc wrapped up. They teased what the next story arc was going to be, and when we came back from Christmas vacation, you had the second story. That's why some of these 20 to 24 episode series per season started doing 2 story arcs a season, because just a 24 episode story arc is just exhausting. Like, it just takes too long, especially when you space it out over 9 months, right? It's hard to feel like the pacing's good when you have a long story arc. You get arc fatigue. You need to feel like we reached a climax. Okay, now we're going to start something new. Even though it's really, like, for instance, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island are all connected. They're all dealing with the same cartel. Like, they're different stories, they're different adventures, but they're dealing with the same overall story. That's how you do it. You could call, they think they call it a saga, right? It's a collection of story arcs that are all kind of related. You do the saga, that's your overall story. But then you want to break it up into smaller pieces, smaller stories, bite-sized story pieces, right? So I think that's how you can avoid arc fatigue, and I'm going to be curious to see if this 38 episode story arc holds up or whether the pacing just feels awful. So we'll see when we get there. Maybe this is something I can do every 50 episodes, or if people like it, I don't know. 50 may not be enough. It may have to be every 100 because, like, we'll only, at this point, we'd only be ranking one more story arc, right? So, I went from 44 to 100, and we've gotten 6 story arcs. But if I go to 150, that's only going to be 2, maybe 3, right? So, I don't know. We'll see. I don't have an overall plan. I'm making this up as I go along. But yeah, 35. So, yeah. Even the ones like, the Diary of Colby, I think a lot of that's just because there's no new characters. Or something like Warship Island, it doesn't have any lore impact. Those are going to be like low, but I still enjoyed them. Like, there's not a story arc yet that I've hated. I'm sure it'll happen. There's no way I can get through 1,150 episodes and love every single story arc. There's going to be a story arc I hate. Be very interesting. Here's the thing: telling me the name of a story arc isn't going to spoil me because first of all, I won't remember it, and second of all, it's just a name, right? So unless the name itself is somehow a spoiler, Luffy's father story arc, okay, that would be a spoiler. But you have common sense. But go ahead and predict what you think, what story arc you think I'll hate. You know me by now. You know what I love and I hate. Like, there would have to be some kind of, like, super focused on romance. What else do I hate? Well, like, I hate the Death Note thing of, I predict you're going to do this, but then you'll know I'm going to predict that, so then you'll do that. But then you'll know that I'll know that you were going to predict that, so then you'll do that. But see, I'll know that. Like, that crap is boring. That's almost the only thing in anime I've ever encountered that I absolutely hate. It's just boring, man. So, other than, like, it'll be hard for them to make me hate something. But throw a prediction. Predict the first story arc you think I'll hate. It's just for fun. But yeah, that was... that's an end of a hell of a week, right? So, yeah, we'll be back with 101 on Monday.